Bobby Wagner has made the Pro Bowl for 5 years in a row and is currently one of the top players in the league. Wagner helped the Seahawks to 2 consecutive Super Bowls in his career and has dominated at inside linebacker. Despite his success, Wagner wasn't selected until the 47th overall pick in the second round of the 2012 NFL Draft. Today, we're going to dive into the careers of those linebackers selected before him. If you plan on going to any events coming up, make sure you use SeatGeek to purchase your tickets. SeatGeek makes ticket buying easy by giving you a 1 to 10 score and even gives you a view of your seat.
You can use our code JDP at checkout to get $20 off your first purchase. Again, make sure to use SeatGeek when buying tickets and use code JDP at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. Let's get right back to the video.
Before we talk about those selected before Wagner, let's first look at where he's gotten to where he is today. Bobby Wagner grew up in California, where he attended Colony High School. As a senior in high school, Wagner registered 125 tackles and 4 sacks. He also played tight end, where he made 37 catches for 595 yards and 11 touchdowns. Wagner was a 2-star recruit and received a single offer from Utah State, which he accepted. Wagner started every year at Utah State, starting with his freshman year where he tallied 51 tackles. In the next 2 years at Utah State, Wagner had 147 tackles, half a sack, and 2 interceptions. Wagner dominated as a senior and was named WAC Defensive Player of the Year after recording 147 tackles, 4 sacks, and 2 interceptions. Wagner was invited to the 2012 Senior Bowl, where he had 22 tackles and an interception en route to winning Senior Bowl MVP. He was invited to the Combine but ended up not participating due to pneumonia. Wagner participated at the Utah State Pro Day, where he put up what would have been a linebacker best 40-yard dash, broad jump, and tied for first vertical jump. Scouts all seem to have the same major knock on Wagner, his size. At 6 foot 240 pounds, scouts said Wagner is undersized to play middle linebacker in the NFL. Despite his small stature, they praised his strength, saying he is stronger than he is big and can toss bigger linemen aside to get to disrupt the play. Wagner won the starting middle linebacker job in training camp for the Seahawks. Wagner finished his rookie campaign with 139 tackles, 4 pass deflections, 2 sacks, and 3 interceptions. In 2013, with new defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, Wagner dominated, helping the Seahawks to a division-best 13-3 record. The Seahawks went on to the Super Bowl, where they defeated the Broncos 43-8. Wagner made 10 tackles in the win after recording 15 in the NFC Championship. Wagner finished the season with 154 tackles, 7 pass deflections, 5 sacks, 2 picks, and 1 fumble recovery. Wagner continued his league dominance in 2014, helping the Seahawks to their 2nd consecutive Super Bowl. This time they would fall 28-24 to the Patriots, the game known for Malcolm Butler's interception on the goal line. In the loss, Wagner had 12 tackles, a deflected pass, and an interception. He finished the season with 135 tackles, 3 pass deflections, and 2 sacks. Wagner made his first Pro Bowl and was named first-team All-Pro for the first time in 2014. From 2015 and beyond, Wagner has made the Pro Bowl every year and has made first-team All-Pro every single year except for once in 2015 when he made second team. Over the span, Wagner accumulated 553 tackles, 27 pass deflections, 7.5 sacks, 4 interceptions, 7 fumble recoveries, and 4 forced fumbles. With the 9th overall pick in the 2012 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers selected Luke Kuechly. Kuechly played for Boston College, where he immediately made an impact as a true freshman, racking up 158 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 interception. He led the ACC in tackles and was named ACC Defensive Rookie of the Year. After playing outside linebacker as a freshman, Kuechly made the switch to middle linebacker as a sophomore. Kuechly led the nation in tackles with 183 tackles and added 1.5 sacks and 3 interceptions. He was a finalist for the Butkus Award given to the nation's best linebacker. Kuechly led the nation for tackles for the 2nd consecutive season. He had 191 tackles and 3 interceptions as a junior and won the Butkus Award. Kuechly decided to declare for the draft after his junior season. Draft scouts loved Kuechly, and he was said to be one of the most intellectual and technically sound linebackers to enter the draft in years. The main knock on Kuechly was the fact that he had a lot of inflated tackle production in college, while most of his tackles were 5 to 8 yards downfield. After getting taken by the Panthers, Kuechly started at outside linebacker but was switched to middle linebacker after an injury to starter John Beeson. Kuechly led the league in tackles with 164 as a rookie. He had 8 pass deflections, 1 sack, 2 interceptions, and 3 fumble recoveries. He was named Defensive Rookie of the Year. Kuechly dominated in his second year in the league, making 156 tackles, 7 pass deflections, 2 sacks, and 4 interceptions. He made his first Pro Bowl and was named an All-Pro. Kuechly has continued to be one of the best in the league in his 5 seasons since his first Pro Bowl. In the last 5 years, Kuechly has 646 tackles, 40 pass deflections, 9.5 sacks, 10 interceptions, 7 forced fumbles, and 6 fumble recoveries. He has made the Pro Bowl every single season and been named first team All-Pro every year except for 2016 when he made second team. He has also won the Butkus Award 3 times as the league's best linebacker. Kuechly unfortunately dealt with multiple concussions in his career, but there's no denying he's one of the best in the game. Wagner and Kuechly are 2 of the best in the game, and when compared, are extremely close. The Panthers got a beast in Kuechly and should have no doubts about their selection back in the 2012 NFL Draft. 18th overall, the San Diego Chargers drafted Melvin Ingram. Ingram attended South Carolina, where he played linebacker before switching to defensive end. Ingram had 17 tackles and 1 sack as a true freshman. Ingram suffered a broken foot in an off-field incident prior to the 2008 season and missed the year recovering from his foot surgery. Ingram returned as a redshirt sophomore and had 18 tackles, 1 pass deflection, and 1.5 sacks. As a redshirt junior, Ingram led South Carolina with 28 tackles. He also had 1 pass deflection, 9 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. Ingram had the best season of his collegiate career as a redshirt senior, making 48 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 10 sacks. He was named a first-team All-SEC. Draft scouts said Ingram had an uncommon blend of speed and overall athleticism for a big man. That same strength was said to be a weakness for Ingram. Scouts said his weaknesses were all about physical limitations such as height, weight, and arm length. In his rookie campaign with the Chargers, Ingram had 41 tackles, 5 pass deflections, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble. Over the next 2 years, Ingram's dealt with injuries, tearing his ACL in 2013 and suffering a hip injury in 2014. Over the span, he played in just 13 games, making 42 tackles, 1 pass deflection, 5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and 3 forced fumbles. Ingram hasn't missed a game since. Over the next 2 years, Ingram had 125 tackles, 11 pass deflections, 18.5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and 8 forced fumbles. After signing a contract extension with the Chargers in 2017, Ingram made his first Pro Bowl. He had 56 tackles, 1 pass deflection, 10.5 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 forced fumble. He made the Pro Bowl for the second consecutive season last year after racking up 43 tackles, 3 pass deflections, 7 sacks, 1 interception, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 forced fumble. Ingram has been solid for the Chargers and has certainly improved as of late, but there's no denying that he's not on the same level as Wagner and Kuechly. Wagner is overall a better player than Ingram, and no one really thinks otherwise. Dante Hightower was taken by the New England Patriots with the 25th pick. Hightower spent 4 years under Nick Saban at Alabama. Hightower started for Alabama as a freshman, accounting for 64 tackles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 forced fumble. Hightower played in just 4 games the following season after suffering a torn ACL. He had 16 tackles, 1 pass deflection, and 1 sack. As a redshirt sophomore, Hightower was a leader for a young Alabama defense. On the season, Hightower had 70 tackles, 5 pass deflections, 1 interception, and 1 forced fumble. Hightower was a defensive captain for Alabama as a redshirt junior. Hightower led the nation's best defense in tackles with 85 and added 4 pass deflections, 4 sacks, 1 interception, and 1 forced fumble. Hightower was named to first-team All-SEC and was a finalist for the Butkus Award. He opted to forego his final year of eligibility to enter the draft. Draft scouts believe that Hightower could work as the physical inside presence for a defense, if he could keep his weight steady and play at a fast speed. The major knock on Hightower was that he struggles to maintain coverage in man after trying to disrupt at the line. In his rookie year with the Patriots, Hightower won the starting job at strong side linebacker, and in his first career game had 5 tackles and a fumble recovery he took back for a touchdown. He finished the season with 60 tackles, 3 pass deflections, 4 sacks, and 2 fumble recoveries. Over the next 3 seasons, Hightower solidified himself as a top player on a great Patriots defense. Playing in 40 games over the span, Hightower recorded 279 tackles, 7 pass deflections, 10.5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 forced fumble. In 2014, Hightower won his first Super Bowl when the Patriots defeated the Seahawks, the game known for the legendary Malcolm Butler interception on the final drive. But here's something that you may not remember. That interception was thrown on 2nd and goal. On 1st and goal, Marshawn Lynch almost scored to take the lead, but he was stopped on the 1-yard line, thanks to a tackle by Hightower. Butler is the one known for saving the Patriots, but that play never happens without Hightower's stop the play prior. In 2016, Hightower made his first and only career Pro Bowl while helping the Patriots to another Super Bowl, this time over the Falcons where they trailed 28-3. He had 65 tackles, 2 pass deflections, 2.5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. Hightower played in just 5 games in 2017 due to a torn pec. He had 14 tackles and 2 sacks. Last season, Hightower won his third career Super Bowl after the Patriots defense stopped the Rams. He finished last season with 48 tackles, 1 pass deflection, 1 sack, 1 interception, and 1 fumble recovery. Hightower has had an extremely successful career with the Patriots and has multiple rings to show for it, but he's not even on the same playing field as Wagner, and there's real no way to argue he is. The Patriots certainly aren't upset with the selection of Hightower, but come on, Wagner's definitely the superior player. With the 28th pick, the Green Bay Packers selected Nick Perry. Perry played for Southern California, where he redshirted in his first season. Perry led USC in sacks with 8 as a redshirt freshman, despite being a backup. He also had 24 tackles on the season. In his redshirt sophomore season, Perry started in most games, accumulating 25 tackles, 3 pass deflections, 4 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and 2 forced fumbles. The following year, he made 54 tackles, 3 pass deflections, 9.5 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. He decided to declare for the draft after his redshirt junior season. Scouts expected Perry to be a late first or early second-round pick. They said Perry would be reliable even as a rookie to set the edge and defend the run with strength. The main worry about Perry was his size, though. Scouts predicted that he could have trouble against the bigger, stronger offensive tackles in the NFL who can neutralize his leverage and power. Perry won a starting job alongside Clay Matthews as a rookie with the Packers. Perry played in just 6 total games on the year due to a knee injury and wrist injury that bothered him throughout the year. He finished the season with 18 tackles, 1 pass deflection, and 2 sacks. Over the next 3 seasons of his career, Perry suffered both from a fractured foot and shoulder injury. Missing 8 games in the span, Perry had 96 tackles, 3 pass deflections, 10.5 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and 5 forced fumbles. The Packers declined his 5th-year option as a first-round pick, but signed him back on a 1-year deal in 2016. He ended up starting on the season and having the best year of his career, tallying 11 sacks. He also had 52 tackles, 4 pass deflections, and 1 interception. The outlier season landed him a 5-year, $60 million contract with the Packers. Perry dealt with a hand injury during the season and eventually landed on an injured reserve due to a foot and shoulder injury. He played in just 12 games on the year, compiling 38 tackles, 7 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 forced fumble. Last year, he landed on injured reserve again, this time due to a knee injury. He played in just 9 games, making 24 tackles, 3 pass deflections, 1.5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. He was released after the season despite still having 3 years left on his deal. Perry has dealt with constant injuries in the league and has only really had 1 good season. He's a confusing player to analyze, but it's clear that the Packers would have been better off with Wagner. 35th overall in the second round, the Baltimore Ravens drafted Courtney Upshaw. Upshaw was the second linebacker drafted that played under Nick Saban at Alabama. Upshaw started in just 1 game over his first 2 seasons at Alabama. He had 37 tackles, 2 pass deflections, 1 sack, and 2 fumble recoveries in the 2-year period. Upshaw started in every game for Alabama as a junior. On the year, he had 52 tackles, 2 pass deflections, 7 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and 4 forced fumbles. Upshaw showed his potential as a senior at Alabama, dominating in 13 games and helping them win a national championship. In the national championship game against LSU, Upshaw was named Defensive MVP after his 7 tackle and 1 sack performance. On the season, Upshaw made 52 tackles, 12 pass deflections, 9.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. Heading into the draft, scouts praised him for his speed and claimed he sets the edge as good as any prospect in recent years. While his strength was the main positive, that was how he played. He relied on his power, which led to scouts saying he has slower feet than most productive pass rushers. In Upshaw's rookie season, he made an immediate impact for the Ravens on the field. The Ravens made it to Super Bowl 47 against the 49ers, where Upshaw forced a fumble against running back LaMichael James, helping the Ravens to a 34-31 victory. On the year, Upshaw made 55 tackles, 1 pass deflection, 1.5 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 1 forced fumble. Over the next 3 seasons with the Ravens, Upshaw was a consistent starter. Over the 3-year window, he had 128 tackles, 5 pass deflections, 3.5 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 forced fumbles. Upshaw became a free agent after the season and signed the first of 2 one-year deals with the Falcons. In his time with the Falcons, Upshaw played in 13 games both seasons, making a total of 32 tackles, 1 pass deflection, 2 sacks, 1 fumble recovery, and 2 forced fumbles. Upshaw signed with the Jets in the offseason but was cut prior to the season. He hasn't played a down of football since. Upshaw had a really solid year for the Ravens, but peaked and hasn't been the same since. Wagner is the clear better option over Upshaw looking back now. Michael Kendricks was taken by the Philadelphia Eagles with the 46th pick. Kendricks attended California, where as a freshman, he had 15 tackles and 1 sack. In his sophomore and junior years, he had a combined 138 tackles, 9.5 sacks, and 1 interception. Kendricks dominated as a senior at Cal and was named Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year after recording 106 tackles, 3 sacks, and 2 interceptions. There isn't much on Kendricks prior to the draft. His NFL draft profile doesn't even have any weaknesses listed, but it does have a single sentence for his strengths, stating, "He is a very solid tackler who punishes running backs when he fills the gap on inside runs." Kendricks played a starting role for the Eagles as a rookie and finished the year with 75 tackles, 8 pass deflections, and 1 sack. Kendricks played a more important role for the Eagles over the following 3 seasons. In the span, he made 278 tackles, 10 pass deflections, 11 sacks, 4 fumble recoveries, and 6 forced fumbles. Prior to the 2016 season, the Eagles switched their base defense from a 4-3 to a 3-4. The move significantly decreased Kendricks' playtime. He finished the year with 28 tackles, 1 pass deflection, and 1 fumble recovery. His lack of playing time prompted him to request a trade prior to the 2017 season. Kendricks saw some playtime in 2017 after Jordan Hicks went down with an injury. He played a role for the Eagles on the year and made 4 tackles in Super Bowl 52, where the Eagles beat the Patriots 41-33. He requested a trade again during the 2018 offseason, and he was released. He was quickly signed by the Browns, but was cut prior to the year after he was charged with insider trading. His trial was recently postponed indefinitely. He signed with the Seahawks during the year and finished the year playing 4 games with 19 tackles, 1 pass deflection, and 2 sacks. Kendricks hasn't been great, but for his draft position has been a serviceable linebacker. The Eagles had a chance of adding Wagner to their incredible defense, but instead took a different linebacker with the pick prior. And 1 pick later, with the 47th pick, the Seattle Seahawks drafted Bobby Wagner out of Utah State. Wagner has been a force for the Seahawks and played a major role in their consecutive Super Bowl appearances in 2013 and 2014. I strongly believe that no matter the team, Wagner would have taken the NFL by storm and become a top player. He is a stud in and out and will continue to dominate for years to come. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. My name is Jackson.
And my name is Darren, and this is J&D Productions. So if you don't already know what type of videos we basically make videos revolving around sports. We eventually want to work to make this our full-time job, and we're working really hard currently to make great content for you guys.
And if there's anything you can do to help us, please share this video. Tell your friends about it, tell your family about it. Make sure you go share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of those above. Just go help us grow. We're just trying to grow this channel. We're trying to make better content, and we really appreciate it if you help get the word out about our channel.
And if you guys want to help us out any more than you already have by sharing and watching this video, please go ahead and click that link down in the description for Patreon. If you guys don't know what a Patreon is, it helps us make better content for you guys. And that is strictly what it's for. We don't want to take your money. We don't want to steal your money. We just want to make better content for you guys. We're 2 broke college students, and we're just trying to make this our full-time gig. So if you have the generosity in your hearts to help us out a little bit more, please click that link down in the description.
But again, if you don't have the money, don't worry about it. We don't have money either. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you go share this video as much as you possibly can. Help us get our name out there. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.